Ends up in, jail. I don't feel like I failed them.
Right now, there are nearly 500 Maricopa County jail inmates classified as seriously mentally ill.
The number of mass shootings in this country has tripled in recent years, and more people in the U.S. die of suicide than in car crashes. And those are just some of the tragic consequences when mental illness goes untreated.
ABC 15 investigator Lauren Gilger discovered many times treatment here in Arizona is nearly impossible to find.
There are very few inpatient mental health treatment centers in the state, which makes it difficult to get into one. It's even worse for children. When they are in crisis, there seems to be nowhere for them to get help. Here's a Phoenix family who for years has desperately tried to get help for their son, both homicidal and suicidal. He still couldn't get into a treatment facility.
I almost fell to my knees.
Marie Yates was at work when she got the call.
My son cut his throat with scissors.
It was her worst fear come true.
Thinking, oh my God, how far did the scissors? How is he dead?
Stephen struggled with schizophrenia, autism, and bipolar disorder for years.
He wants this over with. He don't want to feel this way anymore.
He gets violent with teachers and his parents.
He'll throw desks, throw chairs,
Throw
he'll bite,
pencils.
spit, kick, punch.
This wasn't his first attempt at suicide.
I've seen him run out in the middle of the streets and me pleading, for him to stop.
His throat cut, Stephen was admitted to the hospital. The plan was for him to go to one of the few inpatient psychiatric health centers in the valley for treatment.
That wasn't what happened.
11 days later, we're sitting there in the hospital wondering why my son wasn't ever placed anywhere.
Medical records show doctors at the hospital diagnosed Stephen as needing inpatient care at a psychiatric facility multiple times. The hospital even tried to get him admitted to one multiple times, but he didn't go. Instead, he was discharged after his medications were stabilized.
They told us the beds were full.
It's a problem more Arizona families are facing today, according to behavioral health expert Emily Jenkins.
We are woefully short of beds, inpatient beds for children.
Jenkins says in recent years, with statewide budget cuts that put hospitals in the red, resources for mentally ill children in our state have severely diminished.
The hospitals then are careful about the children they do take in, because they have to make sure that there will be some source of payment.
Payment that can be hard to come by, especially for families like Stephen's, stuck in the middle.
It's almost like the middle class working family who has insurance may be the most disadvantaged.
Jenkins says wealthy families can afford private insurance plans that cover mental health, and disadvantaged families qualify for public programs. But for the rest?
They're desperately looking for some place that can take their child, that can provide the help they need.
And they can't always find it.
And they can't always find it.
Dr. Stephen Dingle is the Chief Medical Officer of Behavioral Health for the state. While they oversee all hospital licensing, they can't tell private hospitals what to do.
There are delays that the children's units and the adolescent units are at capacity, and that there are waiting lists for children to get beds.
Hospitals statewide complain it often takes a long time to actually find a bed for patients like Stephen, and sometimes they can't at all. So earlier this year, Dingle began working with them to find out why.
We have an absolute responsibility to ensure that an adequate network exists for the children under our care.
As a result, the state reinforced protocols and is now working with behavioral health partners to help ease the problem. But they cannot force private hospitals to do the same.
If he ends up in jail, state mental hospital, I don't feel like I failed them.
That still leaves parents desperate for help.
Sorry? For the past 3 years, I've called so many agencies, doctors, hospitals, schools, and not one person has really helped my son.
His parents say doctors are working to stabilize Stephen's medications, and he's finally getting the counseling he needs. But he won't stay in the treatment center for long, and there are very few inpatient psychiatric facilities in Arizona where he could get long-term care. The only option left will be for him to go back home again. I'm investigator Lauren Gilger, ABC 15 News.
Well, this story has taken yet another turn. Stephen recently tried to commit suicide again.
This time his family did get him into a treatment center. Investigator Lauren Gilger will show you what his parents did to get him some help this Sunday night at 10 right here on ABC 15 News.